Howdy folks, Kathy Williams-Devries here, bringing you a video on some of the technical requirements of a Trinity College Grade 2 clarinet exam. One of the things I like about Trinity College is that you can either choose to present the scales, which I have done on another video, or you can produce 3 of 6 little exercise based on tone and phrasing, articulation and finger technique, and they're quite nifty little exercises. So I'll go through all of them and then you can choose which ones you like. So this is 1A and 1B, so you choose either 1A or 1B. I rather like snake in a basket myself. It doesn't go too fast, but it has a lot of accidentals in it, which make it tonally quite interesting. You're never quite sure what key it's in, although I would say A minor given all the G sharps. It's also got a marking of rubato. Rubato means that you can play around with the tempo a little bit. And the phrasing, you've got a lot of pianos crescendoing up to mezzo forte and back down again. And you can practice these without actually playing the excerpt. Just hold one note. So start soft, hold one note, get louder for 4 beats, get softer for 4 beats. So and the trick is not to get, it's easier to get loud, but it is harder to get softer at a steady pace, and you've just got to keep that in your head. So, now remembering that our G sharp is this one, and if you're going to use that G sharp, you're probably, using that E quite a lot. So get to know all your little keys. I have a nice little exercise for these keys. Which you can then speed up quite a lot. And you can do the same thing with the right hand keys. And you can, that's a good pinky strengthener, as well as getting to know those notes. So, snake in a basket. And then you can just let it fade away to nothing. I tend to, in the last 4 bars, kind of clip those upper notes a bit. But do whatever your teacher tells you to. The next one is delightful, again in tone and phrasing. What's quite interesting is the large leaps. So you've got in bar 3, 4 and 5. Which can trip you up if you are reading for the first time. And the very last note has a tenuto mark over it. So now we're using C sharps here. So I would use this C sharp and this B. That probably would be the best, and of course this F sharp, so you're using the 12th. Another technical difficulty you might come across is a C sharp, D to C sharp to B. So practice first. And then until you get that cleanly. So this one rolls along at 108. So get the trusty old metronome out. So, and we're doing it about 108 at MF for the first line. Then for most of the second line we're piano, back up to mezzo forte, and then piano. So dynamics fairly important here. You want a nice strong mezzo forte to start off with so that you can go down to a piano. And you want a fairly smooth. What I've actually done in the past is practice scales in octaves. So that when you come across them in a piece, because clarinet isn't built like other instruments where you just stick on a register key and it goes up the octave, clarinet goes up the 12th. Also make use of the lovely lower notes, especially in the second line. And especially here, when you're mezzo forte. So, for tone and phrasing, pick either one of those two. I particularly like Snake in a Basket. Okay, so for articulation, you've got Vive la Différence or one-man band. I prefer one-man band myself. So Vive la Différence, you have 4 bars of slurry stuff. Then you've got staccato, and then slurry stuff, and then staccato. So you rock around 112, which is, so it's not terribly fast. And what you really want to be looking here is the smooth connection between the A and the B. Notice that I've got most of my fingers down, and all I need to do is just slightly move a couple of fingers, and I get. I get a really smooth connection between the A and the B. So, and again, start with a nice strong mezzo forte so that you can get down to a piano. And then keep up the support. I didn't do that then, sorry. So nice and crisp, and put your tongue back on the reed. Tut, 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 tut. So tut, tut. Challenges there. In the second line, you can either use this C sharp or this C sharp, really doesn't matter. So yeah, that's quite a nice little, just make sure that you're and what you might like to do is play each note sort of, 4 to 8 times. So that you get a really nice staccato. That's how I practice my scales. And that's how I get a really, really crisp staccato. But I like this one-man band because you are given the option. You can play it straight, you can play it that way. It goes up to 120. Or what I like to do is swing it, and swing it to the extent that the marcato is almost on the next beat. Distinguishing from a accent, and marcato is very, very short and very, very crisp. But I'll play it both ways. So this is straight. Or and that's one-man band. So you can choose either or. Now, the next two, the Sphinx actually is a lot of fun. and you need to sort out, it's best to use both fingerings of E flat. If you weren't already aware, there are 2 E flat fingerings. That you can use. I tend to try and keep it in the one hand, but if you find that a little bit too sort of, I don't know, confusing or restrictive, then by all means use the one with the other hand. On a cloudy day, you've got an interesting bit at the start where you are required to use the clanky keys. So that's, but I like the Sphinx. The Sphinx goes at 96. So I'm going to use this one. So try that again. So where you can really make use of that nice because it's the E flat is really juicy. So let me try it this time with some dynamics. Again, there's a pause or fermata over the D so that you can grow it and silence it any way you want. You notice that I did use this C. I didn't have to. It's just a habit I have whenever I'm around E flats, you know, so okay. So, cloudy day. I think the main difficulty is this beginning. And you really want the richness too of the lower part of the clarinet. So notice I'm using this E and this F sharp. Notice I'm using this B, it just sounds better on my instrument. Otherwise, I would also use completely up to you. Now we're piano. Here, so we've got a length of a fifth. So we are moving quite a few fingers at once. And then we go up the octave. And that's Cloudy Day. I think that's a heap easier than the Sphinx. But it's all up to you. I'll play it again. Okay, and that's the technical requirements of Grade 2 Trinity College Clarinet if you choose not to do the scales, although I'm not saying don't do the scales. Do the scales, but definitely take these pieces on board. I myself am planning to do a recorder certificate next year because I've done all the clarinet ones, well, apart from the fellowship, but that's too hard. So yeah, hoping you got something out of it. Thanks for listening and goodbye for now.